All right, I'm going to call this meeting of the Winchendon School Committee to order. It's the meeting of May 7th, 2020, 6 p.m. A reminder that this virtual meeting or remote meeting, whatever kind of meeting you want to call it, is being recorded for playback. And also, if I can ask folks if they have comments or questions to please ask to be recognized so that we could just sort of keep things as orderly as possible. So just make your comments through the chair if you could, please. And with that being said, I guess we'll move along. Joan, what were you saying now? We're going to take something out.
I was going to, and now a donation.
Oh, sure. Go ahead. Why don't you go ahead and do that?
Okay, so we received a donation of $100 from resident P. Darlene Olson. The donation is for food for the children of the Winchendon Public Schools during the COVID-19 crisis. So I'm asking the school committee to accept this donation, and I sincerely thank Mrs. Olson, who has actually gone out to our designated areas, locations in Winchendon to ask if anyone needed any help. So I'd like to recognize her for her wonderful donation.
Okay, and certainly I'd like to thank her as well. I'm sure the committee would, as well as the rest of the community, for making such a generous contribution to help feeding the kids in the district. Let me ask you, Joan, before we go on, not that we'd get donations and this amount on a regular basis necessarily, but have you had many others who've offered monetary help, or has most of it been in the form of volunteer work, which is certainly just as important?
Volunteer and donations of food. People call up and ask if we need things, and the Hayward Hospital has been coming every Wednesday, so we do get donations of food, which we greatly appreciate.
Okay.
So staff from the district moved the food that was in the pantry at the high school over to central office, and so we have all the food in central office for any family that needs assistance.
Okay. So would anybody on the committee like to make a motion?
I move that we accept this donation, and thank you to Mrs. Olson.
Do I have a second?
Okay.
Okay, and any other comments or questions from committee members? And not hearing any, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks again to Ms. Olson. And I guess we could go back then to the first item on the agenda, which is the recognition of Director of Facilities Jim Murphy's retirement.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's also.
Oh my God, wow.
So Jim started in, I'm sorry, I was just going to give a little history. He's been in Winchendon since 1998, working for the school department. He started.
Was that 1898?
1998. I was young, and so I'm not familiar with that year. No sibling jokes tonight. I promise, Jim. And he worked for the children in Winchendon, making sure the buildings and everything's running. And I, during this, and that's, I'm sure he's done that the 2 years I've been here, but I'm sure that speaks to his whole career in Winchendon. But I want to thank him during the pandemic crisis. Jim has been at the office with me every day, making sure it's opened, helping. He would, at the beginning, helped me distribute food at different locations. So I just, it's nice to see him every every morning and then leave with him in the afternoon. So I really appreciate that because I know you're doing that for the children of Witchington. So we're gonna miss you. I know Karen will throw you out of the house every once in a while, so you're always welcome to come and say hello to us. So I'd open it up to anyone else.
Well, I'd like to just say, I can remember my first stint on the school committee was from 1999, shortly after Jim got there. But I just wanted to say that he was always welcoming to. Well, he welcomed this new committee member up to in the district, and he's always been good to anyone, teachers, administrators, and certainly school committee members that had any questions about anything that was going on with the physical plant. And even beyond that, sometimes if you would ask them about morale or certain folks that worked particularly closely with Jim, that may have been going through things that he'd let you know what was going on, and just made it helpful, I think, to committee members and anyone that came in contact with them, made it easier for them to carry out whatever responsibilities they had regarding the district. So thanks to Jim, and again, he's always had a smile on his face whenever he's greeted me. He may not always have wanted to, but he always had one. So I want to thank him for his years of service and everything he's done for the kids in the community.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Mr. Murphy.
I would be remiss if I didn't throw my 2 cents worth into. It's not just it's not just the things that we see about Jim that is so impressive. It's the things that we don't see, like 3 o'clock in the morning, checking buildings, boilers, plowing all night long, and then at work the next day at 6 o'clock. It's those kinds of things that, we don't see and that we need to appreciate. And also, I want to throw in too, the number of times Jimmy has saved the district money, lots of money, when people wanted to outsource jobs for expensive contracts and whatnot. Jimmy was able to just say, no, we'll just roll up our sleeves and we'll do it ourselves. And he has saved the town and the school district so much money over those 22 years that he's been at the helm there. So it's the unseen things. It's sort of like when we talk about teachers and what they do, and it's the unseen things that they do for our students. Well, Jimmy's in that same category. He's one of those unsung heroes. So that's it. Congratulations, Jim. I'm going to miss wrestling with you in the office.
No.
And you certainly have earned your retirement, you and Karen, and we wish you all the best.
Anybody else?
Great working with all of you and many people over these years, and it's just been a great experience for me. So Suzanne will remember that I actually started in 1996 as a subcontractor doing over the Marvin School.
Right.
And was hired 2 years later on staff. So a little piece of history there.
And there is a story behind the whole wrestling. Larry went behind Jim when he entered central office one day, and they started wrestling. And they didn't know a parent was in the central office, and she didn't know they were brothers. So they were having a fight. So it's just brotherly love.
He always starts it.
He does start it. I'm going to have to say that, Larry. You do start it.
And I finish it, too.
No. Jim holds his own. Well, thank you, Jim, and thank you, Karen.
All right, congratulations, Jim.
Very much.
Thanks again, Jim.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I'll see you in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. Next, an update on the Murdoch High School graduation. I'm assuming Mr. King is going to update us on that.
I'm happy to do that. I'd like to just take a second before that. I just want to recognize our student council real quick, if I might. I know there's a few students on, and I see Ms. Rondeau is on. Our student council received yet again, they were recognized as a 2020 National Gold Council of Excellence by the National Student Council. So it's excellent, and that's in addition to the, I think it's the 6th year running that they won the same award at the state level, the Gold Council of Excellence Award at the state level, getting 50 out of 50 points, which is pretty rare in terms of what they've done. So I just want to recognize the students who put in all the work, and Ms. Rondeau, who is tireless in what she does with the kids, for the great job and the great things they do for Murdoch and our community. So thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Is there anything else? If I might just ask Ms. Rondeau if she has anything to add to that before we move on to the graduation update?
I just wanted to say the kids, even though we are not in the building, the kids are still working hard. Cassidy and Erica are on here tonight. We've been doing virtual spirit weeks. We did an Earth Day challenge. The kids have worked this week recognizing teachers. Everybody picked a teacher, wrote a letter this week. They're working on a video right now. In addition, we delivered, with the help of Mr. Collins, 60 of the mask extensions to the police department, fire department, and Broadview Nursing Home. And the kids made cards in recognition of our healthcare workers this week. Cass, do you want to chime in with anything?
No, I think you pretty much covered it all. I mean, definitely during these trying times, it's difficult, but everything that we're doing, like, I guess, takes my mind off of everything. And I don't know, I really enjoyed doing the teacher appreciation stuff. The teachers I wrote my letters to got back to me, and they told me how much it meant to them and everything. So that definitely helped. It was fun.
Agreed. So we're still working.
Yesterday, the meeting.
Yep. I was gonna say we're still meeting every week, and I'm checking in with the kids, and they seem to be in good spirits, and we're looking forward to when we can get together again.
Thank you, Steph, and certainly thank you to the students in your charge as well for continuing to be involved. As Cassidy said, it's sort of a tough time, so staying connected is important, and anything that they can do is certainly appreciated.
Thank you.
So, Mr. King, what else you have for us?
Yeah, thank you for allowing me that latitude. I just thought it was important to be recognized.
Glad to do it.
So, last week we met and talked about a virtual graduation. Come Monday morning, Joan and I had a conversation where both of us are on listservs. Joan is on the listserv for superintendents, and I have a similar one with principals in the Mid-Watch area. And for whatever reason, come Monday, there was a lot of communication on that listserv about many districts switching from doing a virtual to offering the opportunity to do a late summer graduation on August 1st, an in-person graduation on August 1st. So Joan and I, through some conversations back and forth, decided that we would put that out to the community as a whole. And when I say community, what I mean is the senior class as well as their parents. So I think Ms. Weeks was able to put together for us a quick survey. We put that out to all the parents and families yesterday. And last we heard, so there's probably around 120 respondents potential. If you think we have almost 60 seniors and their families, we can anticipate about 120 maximum responses. And I believe at last count we had approaching 60. Is that right, Ms. Weeks?
Right before the meeting, we had 52.
52. And so I think 50 of those are opting for an August 1st potential in-person graduation. and only 2 or 3 had opted for doing the virtual.
Correct.
And so I want to be really clear about what we articulated to, the seniors and their families about what that could look like and kind of the potential pitfalls, meaning if the governor does not open up our ability to convene at that point, that it would probably be too late to hold a traditional graduation going forward. It would also be an outdoor graduation, again, trying to be as safe as possible relative to whatever may be coming forward. So we're anticipating doing something at the football field, where right now we're putting forth a Friday night, which I believe is July 31st, with a Sunday rain date possibility. So we were hoping that we're not hoping for rain, if there happened to be rain on Friday night, giving another day and a half to dry up the field so we can still keep that outside on Sunday, and again, trying to maintain the safety. So we don't know what the governor is going to put forward, or what the social distancing will be, or the numbers of folks that convene, that are able to convene at that time. But the families and the seniors have had an opportunity to speak, and that's the direction that we'll go at this point in time.
Did of the students that opted for the virtual, I don't know if the survey gave the option for any kind of narrative or not, but was there, did they offer any explanation as to, were they getting ready for college or going away to the military, or was it?
We didn't offer a text box at this time. We're just looking to get data as quickly as possible so we can prepare for this meeting. But we did offer the caveat, and I think we do, need to be cautious to see what the governor says on May 18th. If he's still limiting gatherings to 50 people, it just wouldn't be feasible. But we heard loud and clear that an in-person graduation is what they prefer.
What's the consideration, I guess, in terms of the latest that you would need to know? And are you just talking about planning it for the 1st? And I guess my concern is, if we plan it for the 1st of August and we can't do it, and we haven't done the virtual, then the risk is there that they get nothing. Yeah.
They do get to graduate.
Well, yeah,
but
I know.
that is the inherent risk, right? Is that we'll be too close to the start of school. At that point, students will be leaving to do whatever their next steps happen to be, whether it's college, career, or military. And so that is the inherent risk. We did put that in the survey specifically, that is the risk, that it potentially could not happen in theory, for, whether it's weather reasons or possibly, the governor still restricting the number of folks that convene. And I will say that we're not alone in putting forth this sort of option. I would say far and away that the number of districts in the Mid-Watch area, this is the route that they're taking. What we will still do on the 7th, so to kind of back up, and some of the things we covered last week, we're still going to be doing, the yard sign thing with students' pictures. So we put out another communication to families about the options for yard signs in terms of having your picture on it, not wanting your picture on it, those types of things. We've heard back from the families for that. We're placing that order, and we would still put that out on the 7th to recognize the actual day of their graduation. We're working with a couple of places in town for a location. We've also arranged the town to put a banner across Main Street. And again, my anticipation would be to do those things on the 7th. We are all set on caps and gowns. Those will be in plenty of time, even if we were doing the 7th. So all of those types of things are all set in motion. So, we still would like to do a few things on that 7th date or thereabouts to recognize the seniors and their actual graduation date.
Anybody else on the committee have any questions or comments?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, if I may. So, is there a possibility that you could have Plan A and Plan B, with the Plan B being the virtual? Is there a way to work? I don't know what your plans were for the virtual, who was going to do it or how you're going to do it, but is it a possibility to, because you may not know until on the 18th, you never know what the governor's going to say. He may say it's too up in the air, it's too unknown, too many unknown factors, the figures, I can't be definitive right now. We're going to wait till June 15th before we open up the state. So is it reasonable to think that you could plan a virtual one as well? I mean, I think it's great that you're doing the August one. I know I just spoke to the Athol principal today. They're doing August 7th.
Right.
They're planning August 7th. So
Yeah, they're one of the latest ones out there right now.
yeah. So I think that if it's at all possible, we should investigate planning, having the plan B and having a virtual one ready to go, because it may be very late when the governor opens things up.
Absolutely.
It may not be May 18th.
No, and I think we've kind of seen that throughout New England. We did some research to what other states are doing. Some states have very concrete plans moving forward, and some states don't. So it's very hard to get a gauge on what we may be doing in the Commonwealth. We do know as of now, we're not on the decline yet. So I think, Larry, you're absolutely right. I think the only thing we know is that it's not going to be sooner, right? It's not like he's going to say, hey, let's open up on the 12th instead. We're all set. I think that's the only thing we do know right now. But so I absolutely hear your point.
I think we would definitely have to entertain something like that. I don't know what it would be at this point. But we would definitely need to entertain something. But right now we wanted to find out what folks really wanted to do in terms of, how they wanted to proceed. And that's certainly the voice that we heard.
Have you seen anything from Johnston's? Have you looked at any of that stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have, I know Jess is doing an update. I think Jess is using the Johnston's approach as well. We had a plan that we had kind of discussed a little bit last week, Larry, about what we were planning to do for a virtual that didn't necessarily include Johnston's, but it may be a large undertaking to do as a plan B, but we could probably come up with something else that might not be quite as involved.
All right, I'm sure you guys will do something great, but it'd just be nice to know that we got a plan A and a plan B, and we're not shuffling at the last minute, trying to make something work at the end. We already got a plan in place.
Yeah, and I think we'll know. I mean, I think the governor will give us, we'll know, I'm sure, well in advance of what those convening numbers are at some point. I think we'll have ample time to come up with something for a plan B if we need to.
I wanted to thank you and Megan and the the students that are involved as well, because I think it's important. They certainly deserve something after 12 or 13 years of hard work, and I think it's important that we do have like as Larry said, a plan A and a plan B, and that there are always going to be those people who find some reason that you can't do something, and I prefer that we not listen to those people and do what we can to, again, give the seniors a deserving send-off. So
Absolutely, Greg, and that's what I know we're committed to. We want to make sure these seniors feel special. It's such a momentous time in their life, and they've already given up so much with not being in school for the second semester, missing prom, missing alumni day, like all these things. So our number one priority is health and safety, and just a tidge below that is making sure they feel absolutely special.
I do want to just say, we've been trying to work with the town as well, so that they've been very helpful and very generous with their offerings, whether it be the television station, helping us with the signs in the yards around town, those locations, the sign, all those types of things. Anything is open game, with Mr. Hickey and the things that we're coming up with. So they've been very accommodating in terms of what we bring forward to them as well.
Felicia, Roanne, or Pam, any of you have any comments or questions?
Just for clarification, the date will be Friday, July 31st.
Okay.
The rain date of August 2nd.
Right.
For people watching on TV, there was a lot of dates we were talking about. So the public knows.
Thank you.
All right, well, keep us posted. Thanks. Thanks again.
It might be a good time to make a shout out to the senior families as well, that scholarship applications are due tomorrow, and remind people.
Thank you, Roanne.
I know one of my daughters handed one in. One is going to be scrambling to get that in tomorrow. So.
And I will say that we're moving those along, and we're going to try to stick with the regular timelines for that. Kids are going off to school, so we'll be announcing those earlier than later. Obviously, the kids, be anticipating that money as they start moving off to college and putting money forward for that. So, we will not wait on that till the August 1st timeline either, just so that everybody's clear on it.
All right.
Greg, can
Yes.
Mr. King, Ms. Rundle spoke about the masks that the students were doing. Could you explain what Mr. Collins is doing at home right now to make that possible?
Yeah, so we have a 3D printer at the school. And so some of you have probably seen or heard about, if you've got the masks and they go behind your ears, those folks who are wearing those all day, it's apparently exceptionally uncomfortable. I know it's uncomfortable for me just going to the grocery store, but so there was a student, I'm not sure where it was in Massachusetts, that put forward a 3D printer sort of plan to print out a strap that goes across the back of a person's head that has a number of different hook locations for those straps to keep them off your ears. So Mr. Collins got those plans. He asked if we could get the 3D printer and all the materials back to him at his house. We've done that. I believe he said that the 3D printer prints about 5 of those an hour. So he is basically printing those.
Ms. Rondeau is holding up an example.
There we go.
We have a visual.
Yeah. He's printing those all day. And I think we'll keep printing them till we run out of material, basically. Ms. Rondeau's, like she said, she's been distributing those. And I think the kids have also written cards for when those get distributed, thanking those folks that are out there every day and need to wear the masks and need a little support.
Thank you.
Are they targeted for Haywood or just?
We already delivered. I saw Officer Flagg on Tuesday, and she took care of delivery for me to the police department, the fire department, including the EMTs, Broadview Nursing Home. And then Mr. Collins, I said he can it'll print about 5 of these per hour. So he has a contact at Leominster Hospital. We have some former students, some alumni that work there. So he is funneling them through there. And then we are also funneling some through Henry Haywood. Some of our students have been making the masks, like sewing with their parents and stuff. So we've been coordinating those efforts as well.
We have such great people in our school district. It's really great to see. All right, do we want to move on, Joan, to the
Yes, that's great.
grade graduation?
Thank you.
Thanks, Nat. And Jeff. And where'd you go? Did you?
I'm right here.
Okay.
Okay, so for 8th grade, right now I have a training that I need to attend on Monday, so I'm signed up for that. I do have some staff members. We kind of put a team together, so they're gathering all of the award nominations that we have. We're going to do the same type of program that we have done in the past, where each team nominates a student for an award in each subject area and then an overall team award. That's the same with the specialists do that. We also will give recognition out to our yearbook kids and our student council kiddos. And we do our superlative awards. So, class clown, best smile. So Lisa Politsky is still working on our yearbook. We still plan on putting one of those out this year. Probably it will be at the beginning of next school year. That's what we're planning on doing, and then making sure that we have a pickup time. Possibly we might have them ready for the end of the year. We just have to work with the company on that. And then we'll have all the transition certificates We will print them and most likely mail them or give them out to students if we can during the summer. So I've been working with, his name's Dan McLaughlin from Jostens. So pretty much if I have the presentation ready to go, we'll be able to use their platform. So the program, we'll just have to plug in the names of the students, and then we have the outline for the award ceremony, I guess you could say. That's ready. We just have to put the student pictures in. So that's where we are right now.
Anybody on the committee have any questions or?
When is it going to be, Jess?
Depending on which dates, we have 2 dates. Usually we do it on a Wednesday night. I'm going to shoot for June 10th or June 12th. It depends on when Jostens has times available. I'm pretty sure we can get any date right now. I haven't heard anything about dates being held back at all. So those are the 2 dates we're looking at, either the Wednesday night or the Friday night, and we usually start at 6. So we wanted to keep it somewhat similar.
Okay. Anybody else? All right, thanks, Jess.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Jessica.
Next on the agenda is an update on food service bid opening.
I'll let Ann present on that.
Hello.
Hey, Ann.
We had a bid opening yesterday morning, and as you know, we had gone out to bid probably just about 4 weeks ago. And we had a number of folks who were interested in the bid specifications. I think we sent 6 vendor packets out, and we received 2 responses at the bid opening yesterday. So the 2 were from Chartwells and Fresh Pigs Cafe. So as a result of them being requests for proposal, there's a different way to evaluate them as opposed to an IFB, an invitation for bid. So with an RFP, there are 2 separate proposals. One proposal is the technical, the other is the cost proposal. You have to evaluate the technical first to make sure that you distinguish who has the better criteria, and the criteria are outlined in the bid in terms of what would be most advantageous, not favorable. So the ranking or the scoring, if you will, is outlined in the bid document. And then next week, we will evaluate. I will be doing that along with Jonathan. He will be joining me and reviewing these 2 very thick binders that we have. And we'll both we'll do this separately, both read through everything, establish our rankings, and then come back together and look at them, talk through those. And once we identify the highest ranking proposal, then we'll open the cost proposal and make a recommendation from there.
What is that? Is it likely that that'll be ready for the committee to vote on the 21st? Or?
Yes, that is the goal. So after we meet next week, we will have a recommendation to move forward, and then we will present that to you on the 21st. And the specifications included language on notifying the successful vendor by the 22nd.
Anyone on the committee have any questions or comments? All right, I guess we'll wait to hear your recommendations. Thanks, Ann.
Great, thank you.
Joan, the Keystone Collaborative Agreement.
Okay, so Flat Collaborative rebranded, and they're now Keystone Educational Collaborative. And during that process, needed to update their collaborative agreement that they have to submit to the state. So I had sent a copy of it, and Bill's going to put it up on the screen. But there's just different areas that they updated. Also had to update the membership because there was a new North Middlesex was added, and that wasn't in the a while ago, and it needed to be updated. So if you scroll through it, the highlighted, obviously the name, and the highlighted areas about how they take votes for hiring. So in 2016 is when North Middlesex Regional School District would join the collaborative. I was actually the superintendent there when we joined. So that was updated. And then it just has the membership. And if you scroll down, there's different areas like that. The mission was changed. They had a committee that worked on the rebranding. So the mission of the collaborative is to unite our communities together to strengthen each individual student's growth for the future. And I won't read the whole thing, but a committee of parents, students, administrators there worked many months on this process. They also updated their purpose, some of the language, and things that they have to do for the financials. Each collaborative has to have this agreement in place with their members. It's quite a few years. There's training that has to be done. So that's all updated in this document. So they're asking all the community to take a vote. And then at their next board meeting on June 18th, they're hoping to approve this, and the executive board will approve it and send it to the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. I have to say, the new director, John Dimash, has done an unbelievable job. We had a fantastic meeting about a week ago. There's a lot of great things that are going to be being put in place for the coming year. Also, the high school had asked about Interface, which is a program through William and Mary, where counseling for the community and our students, you pay a fee, and any of our students, anyone in our community, elderly, parents, students that go to other schools outside the Wichita Public School can avail themselves of these services. And I had asked if they would research if we could join that group. We weren't in the original process because North Middlesex had their own. So now we're in with the collaborative, and that enabled everyone to get a discount price in all the. So Fitchburg and Wichita has joined. So there's a lot of great things. Suzanne, I don't know if you want to add different things. I know the TEACH program. Is Suzanne still with us?
I am. I'm here. Yes.
Thank you.
I will definitely second what the superintendent was sharing regarding John. He has done an amazing job. When we go in for a regional advisory meeting with him, with the schools, special ed directors, he is very well versed. The data presentations that he has have just been exceptional. There is a much broader sense of collaboration. He is seeking our input for where we may have some weaknesses. So there are some gaps sometimes when we need to have specialized evaluations or consultations when we're dealing with a small incident population, such as perhaps a student that is blind or a student that needs some mobility consultation. He is looking to add also a psychologist, and he is really trying to make sure that districts have readily available and not have to wait 6 months to access these experts coming out of like Boston Children's. So he's really helping us that way. And as a member of the collaborative, he allows us to be able to schedule the use of these persons. Last year, they implemented a transition specialist, and I've had the pleasure to be able to work with Steve on what he's been doing as far as if there is a student that's identified as ready to return, because that's always the collaborative's mission, is to have students gain the skills that they need to have in that therapeutic setting with the hope and goal that they would return to their local district. And the transitional specialist has definitely helped with transitioning some students back into the public school. So when we're doing this planning, it's a scary decision for families to have to make whether or not their child is truly ready to return. And this person through FLAC really helps to eliminate some of those barriers and schedule good, solid transition planning for students. There's lots of things that he's looking to continue to do, such as, again, some of those unseen things that Larry spoke of, which is we have through all the members a vast array of equipment, specialty equipment that seems to be needed one year or a student outgrows it, and then it kind of sits in a closet. He's looking to inventory all those items, take stock of those, and make those available to districts as a cost-saving measure. So we are not purchasing equipment thinking that it's been thrown out, when in fact it has been inspected and it's inventoried and ready for us to access. So there's a lot of great things happening with FLAC.
All right.
It's William James College. I think I said William and Mary. Sorry. But I know that Megan Weeks had reached out to me last year to see if we could become part of Interface. And so at the beginning of the year, starting, I believe, July 1st, we will be able to access those services at a time where they're really needed for our families.
Thank you so much, Superintendent Landers.
You're welcome.
We use that system in the district that I live in, and it's made a tremendous difference in the lives of the whole community. And I think that's a unique part about it. It's for everybody, anybody who wants to take advantage of it.
All right. So what kind of a motion do you need, Joan?
I just need a motion on the Keystone Educational Collaborative Agreement.
That we agree to join?
No, that for the changes.
Oh, I see. Okay.
For the changes, just that.
I got you.
All right, I'll make the motion, Mr. Chair.
Okay, do I have a
I'd like to make a
second?
motion that we accept the changes as written in the Keystone Educational Collaborative as presented by the superintendent.
Second.
Any discussion? No, all those in favor say aye.
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 And chair votes aye. Thank you. And Joan, just a question. I know that you and I touched base on a couple of things today. Did you want to hang on to those until our next meeting, or?
Why don't I can just give you an update.
Okay, yeah, if you don't mind.
That would be helpful. One thing that I know the town and, well, actually Mo Ward from FinCon had brought up at a recent school committee was about the transportation contract with First Student. That is a hot topic in the Commonwealth right now. I think it's probably across the country, about how to compensate bus companies because the students, well, in Wichita stopped needing the services on the 12th. Keith and I met about a week and a half ago, and to protect the interests of the school department and the town, and obviously to worry about our children, our children going forward, we've decided that the town council and our attorney would communicate with each other. Because ultimately the school committee and the selectmen should make a recommendation of how they're going to handle this. There is a Mass General law that if someone does not provide services, that you can't reimburse, pay them for that. I think it's 140. Ann, help me out with the number.
I can't remember the reference, the MGL reference.
So they've put forward legislation to see if they could amend that law. There's a lot of chatter on the listserv. Some people are paying 1%. Some towns and cities are saying we're not. We're trying to, Keith and I have decided to let the lawyers figure that out for us, because we want to make sure that both the town and the school departments represented. So actually, our attorney, our law firm, has an expert that is only dealing with contracts that have to do with transportation during this COVID-19. And the town's council, when Keith reached out to him, they actually have someone in their office whose primary job is to work on this issue of the transportation. So both of those lawyers are conversing with each other. The other thing that has been a question is net school spending. I did meet with Keith, I believe, yesterday, and I also met with Ann. There's a lot of districts in the Commonwealth worried about net school spending because you're not spending like you typically would. We looked, Keith ran some numbers, Ann and I spoke, and we are going to spend all the funding in our budget this year. A high percent is salaries, but the only people that we laid off or terminated contracts were outside vendors, were not being paid by the general budget. I don't know if you want to add, Ann, to that.
I think after our conversation, there's unequivocally no question that we'll meet.
We're going to spend the money.
Yeah, no, there's almost zero negative chance of that. So I think we've identified many different ways. If there were any available funds, and a long list of projects and things that need to be done, that we would be able to use that money for. So again, there's no inkling whatsoever that will be an issue.
But that is a concern. People in the commissioners' meetings, people bring that up every meeting that we have,
do.
Asking those questions. So just to give an update, we're on top of both of those things, but we're waiting for council to guide us on what we should do about the transportation.
Okay.
I have another. We need to schedule a tri-board meeting, and they're looking at May 26th or May 28th for the three boards to meet. And Ms. Dickey wanted to know if you had a preference.
Okay. I suppose since everything's done virtually now, that it doesn't make any difference who's hosting, but whose turn is it to host this time? Is it Select Board or FinCom, or I'm just curious. Who would be in charge?
Lord, we hosted the last one.
Yeah.
We're trying to figure that out, Greg.
Okay. What were the dates again?
One Tuesday the 26th or Thursday the 28th.
I don't know how everybody else on the committee feels about it. Thursdays are better for me than Tuesdays, but I can be.
Agreed.
Was that you, Felicia?
It is. I agree with you, Greg. Thursday's a better day for me too.
Okay.
Thursday works. I'm free on Thursday.
All right.
I'm free every night.
Pam or Roanne, do you have a preference?
No preference, no.
Well, okay, so why don't you let him know the 28th then?
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? All right, I guess just school committee comments, if there are any. Mr. Murphy?
Yeah, I just wanted to thank everybody for the work that they're doing, especially Joan, who has been working like a one-on paper hanger, trying to keep all this stuff together and keep the school district running under these difficult circumstances. But also, I meant what I said about my brother Jim, but I also mean it for all of you. You are all unsung heroes. You're doing lots of great work behind the scenes. That's why it's so important for us to hear it in a public forum like this. You're all amazing, and it's just wonderful. I think Greg said it earlier about what an amazing group of people we have working in our district for our students. And I want to thank you for that, and stay safe and stay healthy, and let's keep it rolling.
And I'd like to thank the staff members that have joined tonight. We have quite a few staff members at this meeting. I don't know if you can see them all. Correct. Congratulations, Amanda. I hope all's well with your family. Congratulations on the baby.
Thank you.
Just a shout out to them. It's our participation is we're getting a lot of participation through the Zoom meeting.
That's great.
Platform.
Pam, do you have anything?
No, I just ditto what you guys you both said. I don't know what else I can say, but thank you all for all your hard work, for sure.
Okay, Felicia?
Yeah, agreed with everything that was said. And I just want to make sure that we congratulate the Student Council for really their accomplishments. That is just, it's incredible. And year after year, to continue to see that is just amazing. So Stephanie Rondo deserves, so much. Really, I want to thank her and thank all of the students for everything that they're doing. It's just incredible. And I think that, all of you get to hear us say thank you, and I hope that you know how sincere it is, but I do hope that we're all saying thank you to our students too as well, because this is taking a toll on them, and it makes it doubly hard for you. But really, it's just amazing to see everything that continues to happen and continues to work, and that I'm forced now to talk a lot about the silver lining of COVID-19, because I think that we see a lot of negative. But everything that we see here and now, the level of participation that we have, everyone coming together, this is the silver lining. So I just don't want to lose sight of that all of us coming together and everyone working like this is just amazing, and it shows what we can do. So thank you, everyone, very much. I definitely appreciate it.
Thanks very much.
Thanks, Felicia.
Thanks for saying that. It's great to see everyone.
Roland, do you have anything?
After that, just ditto to everything. Thank you. I know it's not easy work, as I'm living it on my end as well. You reinvent everything that you do. But to watch it happening in my house with my daughters and working in it, I can see all the great in everybody, and the humanity, and just how much everybody's contributing, and everybody's hanging in there and doing a great job.
Yeah.
Thank you. And thank you, Stephanie. I know that you've been really working hard with the seniors.
And Faye is here.
Yes,
Thank
and
you,
Faye. Oh, yep, I see you, Faye.
All right. And I just want to let you know, Joan, you don't need to check. I just got an email from Dr. Ward, and it's the FinCom that hosts, so now we know.
Thank you.
So I guess I'll just echo what everybody else has said in terms of thanks to everyone that's involved. Everybody's playing an important role in one way or another, and it is, as I've said before, appreciated by the kids, the community, and the co-workers and the committee. So thanks again to everybody. I don't need to expound on what everybody else has said. So Joan, you look like you want.
I just want to echo what that said. The town manager has reached out and basically said whatever we need for the students in Winchendon for their graduation, he will support us doing. So I just a shout out to him, because I've called twice in the last 2 days with some ideas that we're having for the students that we won't talk about now, and see if we could do it, and just to have the whole downtown area celebrate them, and whatever we need. So I want to thank him for that, because there's no questions asked.
Okay, thanks, Joan. And with that, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.